Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Greetings to you all, and welcome back to the channel once more. I'm still your host, Ikemi Funa Chukwebuka Don Bogidon Sports, and I welcome you all to today's program this Monday, 20th day of January 2025. And today we have sports news packed up for you, from football to cricket to tennis and to NBA basketball. And where do we start today? We start today from cricket. We'll move out from the usual. We'll start from cricket because we have a very, very big news making the rounds from cricket. And when I talk about the biggest news in Nigeria, the under 19 girls, our under 19 girls made history by becoming the first cricket team in Nigeria to qualify for the World Cup, for any World Cup in any category. So they became the first team to qualify for the under 19 girls international cricket tournament, being hosted by Malaysia. They beat Rwanda in the semi-finals of the qualifiers, then went to the finals and beat Zimbabwe. They beat Zimbabwe and they made the nation proud also. So they were drawn in Group C alongside South Africa, New Zealand, and Samoa, and they already started the tournament on a winning note. They made the biggest shocker earlier this morning when they beat New Zealand. 65 runs to 63, beating them by 2 runs there in Malaysia. Their first game against Samoa was disturbed by weather. It was meant to hold, but the weather condition they couldn't allow them. Even the second game, there were a bit confusion whether they will play or not play, but at the end of the day, they persisted and played, and they made a great history there in Malaysia, beating the almighty New Zealand. Is still a big shocker there. It's still the biggest news in Malaysia right now. Our girls, they really did well. They have secured their first win, so we wish them well, and we hope that they can beat South Africa and Samoa too, and also go ahead to capture that trophy. It will be a memorable thing for these girls. So we wish them well, and their coach Sarah Wetoto of Kenya, we wish her well too. She's really doing well with these girls. So from cricket, we'll move to football. And football, where do we start from? We start from home. And home, we start from our very MPFL. We start from MPFL. Nothing really is happening on our screens when we talk about football on the pitch, but behind the scenes there are things happening. And we'll start from the games coming up this Wednesday, 23rd of January. It's the Zobia Classic, Kano Pillars versus Enyimba. Kano Pillars versus Enyimba. This is a match day 14 game which was rescheduled. And let me do just a little preview of what the games look like. Kano Pillars are 19th on the table. They have played 18 games already. They have 23 points. They have scored 21 goals, conceded 22. Enyimba on their own are 7th. They have played just 17 games. They have 27 points, scored 16 and conceded just 10. So the game will be happening this Wednesday in Kano. And the two players people are looking out for, Ahmed Musa playing for Kano Pillars and Brown Ide playing for Enyimba. So you remember those two, we are part of the team that won Nigeria the AFCON in 2013. So let's see what this game brings to us. And from there, by the weekend, we'll be seeing the second stanza of the MPFL resuming back. So from there, we'll go to other news happening in the MPFL. The MPFL organizers have announced the arrival of match day balls as we are about to start the second stanza of the league. So they have urged all clubs that only the official balls released by the MPFL organizers will be used for all the games going forward from now. So they have released all the balls and have asked all the clubs to go to the MPFL headquarters, NFF headquarters, to pick up all the balls for the match days. And from there, we'll move to the biggest news that made the rounds last week, which was Heartland FC declaring Peter Afolayan missing. The parent club of Peter Afolayan, Dino Sports Club of Abeokuta, Ogun State, have come out to say, we are the ones that recalled this player back because you have breached the obligation we had with you when we signed for the player to be loaned to your club. So they have come out to counter the notion or what Heartland has said, that the player has gone away. So this has died the matter now, knowing that Peter Afolayan is safe, and with Dino Sporting Club of Abeokuta. Then from there, we'll move to Sunshine Stars. Sunshine Stars welfare officer Abdurrahman Abdusalam has broken he has breached the MPFL framework and rules following an inquest on March the 19th between Ikorodu City and Sunshine Stars. He issued an unguarded public statement which have ended him 3 match ban. He has ended him 3 match ban, and he will be barred from all Sunshine Stars activities as he's serving the ban. Then from there, we move to one of the biggest news, one of the biggest unsettling news in Nigeria, which is JJ Okocha when he granted that interview to Guardian newspaper. So he has said that we shouldn't expect the Super Eagles to win anything with these current NFF officials, that we can't have politicians there and we expect a different result. Even if we want to change the coaches as much as we can, we couldn't win anything with these current people serving the NFF. So he has urged the NFF to to reform to reform that office and pick people who are interested in football, people who are interested in leading the Nigerian football. He has also said that this issue of changing coach after coach, that it really alters the team spirit and chemistry, that if we have a coach, we should give him time to develop the team and lead the players forward. So that's it from for the home front here. For Nigerians, what do we have again? We have Shooting Stars Mustafa Adam Abba is back to training, and Monday Gideon is nearing full fitness. So from there, we'll move to Africa. We'll start with CAF, and like you all know, the draws will be happening on January 27, a week from today. The draws will be happening in Morocco. So we are just counting days off from the big AFCON 2025 draws, which will happen in Morocco. And from there, we move to the CAF Champions League and CAF Confederations Cup. The CAF Champions League, over the weekend, we saw the final games of the group stage played. And after the group stages in the CAF Champions League, we have Al Hilal of Sudan and MC Alger qualify from Group A. They have made it to the quarterfinals. In Group B, AS FAR of Morocco and Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa qualify from Group B. Orlando Pirates and Al Hilal qualify from Group Al Hilal of Egypt qualify from Group C. And on Group D, Esperance of Tunisia and Pyramids of Egypt made it out from Group D. So these are the 8 teams to play in the quarterfinals of the AFCON 2025, and the draws we are still waiting for the draws. And some of the stats from this CAF Champions League group stages: the unbeaten teams are Orlando Pirates and AS FAR of Morocco, and the best defense in the group stages went to MC Alger, who conceded just 2 goals, and the best attack from the group stages has gone to Pyramids of Egypt and Al Ali of Egypt, who have 14 goals scored already. Then from there, we'll move to the CAF Confederations Cup, where our interest is in. And there, we know that Enyimba was knocked out yesterday. They were knocked out by Zamalek. They lost 3-1 there in Egypt. 2-1 in Egypt, and it was a very, very embarrassing goal. We saw the 2 goals that Enyimba had to gift out to Zamalek, and I was like, what is this? Enyimba, what is this really? The mistake from the goalkeeper, and the third goal, which was just abysmal. Schoolboy defending, having a player run all through from his own half to score that wonder goal. So Enyimba, that was a poor outing there in Egypt. So from there, we'll move to the teams that made it to the quarterfinals. Simba of Tanzania and CS Constantine of Algeria made it out from Group A, and RSB Bakane of Morocco and Stellenbosch of South Africa made it out from Group B. USM Alger of Algeria and ASEC Mimosa of Ivory Coast made it out from Group C, and from Group D, where Enyimba where Zamalek of Egypt and Al Masry of Egypt made it out as winners from Group D. So Enyimba, they are out of the Confederations Cup. So starts from the Confederations Cup, Al Bakane, Alger, and Zamalek were unbeaten in the group stages. The best defense went to Um, ASL Bakane with just one goal considered, and the best attack went to USM Alger with 14 goals. 14 goals. So Enimba losing to Zamalek has now made it an abysmal record for them. They have 9 away games. They've lost 9 away games in 9 away matches to Egyptian's club on the continent. And yesterday, Ifani Ihemekwele also joined Obina Waneri, Sikiru, and Victor Mbuama as 4 Enyimba players who have scored against Egyptian teams in the continent. So from there, we go to another CAF organized tournament, which was the CAF Under 17 girls tournament, which was organized in Tanzania, where JKT Queens won the inaugural tournament. This tournament was organized by CAF as a pilot project in the Sekafa region to promote talents. So from there, we move to Nigerian players who did well over the weekend. Nigerian players playing abroad, and Osimhen started this on Friday. He started on Friday when he scored from the spot for Galatasaray. He earned one goal there. From there, Lookman also was on target, but Atlanta lost to Napoli in that game, 2 goals to 3. Then from there, Cyril Dessers was the hat-trick hero. He was the hat-trick hero to fire Rangers to the next stage of the Scottish Cup back there in Scotland. From there, Paul Onuachu, we saw him yesterday scoring his first EPL goal, which was a very, very emotional day for him. He scored his first EPL goal. And Olaina was also in the mix. Also, he provided the assist for Chris Wood as Nottingham Forest beat Southampton in that same game where Paul Onuachu scored. They beat Southampton 3 goals to 2. Chuba Bomb also was on target for Ajax, winning 2-0 in their match yesterday. So, if you see it for Nigerian players who played abroad, who did very well for themselves. From there, we move to Europe. And news making round the world. Where do we start from? We start from the revelations that Neymar made in an interview with Romario. He made some revelations in an interview with Romario where he stated that he left Barcelona for financial gains or for financial reasons. He wanted to boost up his financial status and also make more money. So these were the issues why he left Barcelona. And he also stated that he wanted to play with the Brazilians that were at PSG at the time. The Brazilians like Thiago Silva, Daniel Alves, Marquinhos, and Lucas Moura. So they were the players back then in PSG. So these were the motivating factors why he left for PSG. It wasn't as if he left because of Messi shadows. He explained it to Romario in that interview that he left because of these reasons. He also explained why the combination of him, Mbappe, and Messi didn't work. He said Mbappe and him, they were doing really well before Messi came, but when Messi came, it's as if Mbappe became jealous of his closeness with Messi, and the issue of ego and everything came up. So that was basically one of the things that spoiled that combination there at PSG. Then from there, we move to Erling Haaland in England, Manchester City. Erling Haaland over the weekend signed a 9.5 years contract extension to stay at Manchester City. And this contract extension will see him earn around £500,000 per week. He'll be earning around £500,000 per week. From there, we move to Spain. And on Spain, the biggest news in Madrid is that Florentino Perez has been re-elected as the president of the club. He will be at the club as the president from now till 2029. From there, we'll move to Belgium. Finally, the Belgians have sacked their head coach, Domenico Tedesco. They have sacked Domenico Tedesco, and Thierry Henry is looking like the man to take up the reins of coaching there in Belgium. And then we move to Turkey. We heard that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the new head coach of Besiktas. So he will be there till 2029. 26. He will be there to 2026. And from there, we come back to Africa to tell you that the world largest stadium will be in Africa by 2028. The construction has already resumed. They've already resumed the construction of the 118,000 capacity stadium sitting in 100 hectares there in Morocco. In Morocco, the world largest stadium will be in Africa by 2028. So kudos to people there in Morocco. Kudos to them. And also, the biggest news over the weekend was the separation of Pep Guardiola and his wife Sarah Christiana. So, according to reports, the divorce separation has been done. Pep, according to what we have, Pep lost his house in Manchester City. He lost his house in Manchester, and half of his earnings and half of everything he has worked for what has gone to his wife. It's a very sad one for Pep Guardiola. According to people who were there, they said he couldn't hold back his tears. It was very, very emotional for Pep to lose those properties and also lose his marriage. Then from there, we'll talk about injuries. Solanke over the weekend twisted his ankle and is injured for Tottenham. Dani Olmo also had a leg injury which has seen him out of Barcelona's lineup. He might be out for 10 to 14 days depending on the scans when they come in later. William Saliba also suffered a hamstring injury and is out for Arsenal. Kamavinga too is not left out. He's out. He has a muscle injury and out from Real Madrid. Also, on a very good note, also David Alaba. David Alaba is back. He's back for Real Madrid. He played his first game over the weekend. So that's it for the news making the rounds over there in Europe. And okay. Lastly, Victor Boniface, according to news making the rounds, allegedly he has separated with his Norwegian girlfriend Ricky Hemming. After 4 years of being together, they have separated. So that's it for the biggest news there in Europe and around the world. So we'll move to transfers. And the news making rounds in Italy is that Dele Alli has signed. He has signed till 2026 with Como FC. So he'll be playing under Cesc Fabregas there at Como FC. Then Juventus has entered the race for Renato Viega. As they are afraid they might lose Cambiaso. To Manchester City. So they are already planning to get Viega for that left back. And also Santos have officially submitted a loan bid for Neymar, as Jesus George came out to say that he might not be registering Neymar for the second part of the season. Santos has stepped in to place a deal to call Neymar back to Brazil to play for them. So Kai Walker is in his final stage of moving to AC Milan. Like I said over last week, I asked, where do you guys really think Kai Walker should be moving? And at the end of the day, AC Milan seemed to be the best destination, or the realest destination for him. So both deals between him, Manchester City, and AC Milan are in the final stage, and maybe from now till tomorrow that deal will be done in Milan. Then Anthony is on his way to Real Betis. They are fully in on this and they are in the final stages. Maybe by tomorrow this deal will be a done deal for Anthony, moving from Manchester to Real Betis on loan. Juventus also are in for Fikayo. They are in for Fikayo Tomori. Nothing has been agreed on, both the wages and the transfer. Nothing has been agreed on. And also the biggest news in Manchester City was the transfer of Omar Mamouche from Eintracht Frankfurt to Manchester City. We saw a transfer fee package of 75 million euros. 75 million euros were agreed between the two clubs. And over the weekend, Mamouche had to say his goodbyes to the fans of Eintracht. It was an emotional one for him also. And the amazing thing is the wages he will be earning at Manchester City. He will be earning close to 260,000 to 275,000 pounds per week. Pounds per week. This is before tax, which will amount to 165,000 after tax, which is approximately around 5 times what he's earning at entrance. What he's earning at entrance. And on that, we move to Bayern and Alphonsus Davies has is tilting towards staying at Bayern Munich. Stating towards staying at Bayern Munich. Same thing with Ronald Araujo at Barcelona. Is also tilting to staying at Barcelona. Then Napoli are still in. They are still in on the Garnacho move. They are still very much in on the Garnacho move too. Then Chelsea earlier today placed a 40 million pounds price tag on Chaluba. 40 million price tag on Chaluba. Remember, they had to recall the player back at the end of last week. So they have placed that 40 million pounds price tag on him. And Borussia Dortmund are targeting Eric Ten Hag to be Nuri Sahim's replacement in 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 an event that the coach is sacked. So we'll see Eric Ten Hag back to our screens again. So that's it for transfer news. In Europe and around the world. Then from there we'll go to results. The results of games played over the weekend. Where do we start from? We start from the EPL. And the biggest shocker we saw from the EPL came on Saturday. The early kickoff where Bournemouth beat Newcastle. They beat Newcastle 4 goals to 1. Justin Kluivert with the hat-trick there, the hat-trick hero. It was a big shocker seeing Bournemouth go to St. James Park to beat Newcastle. Then Liverpool delivered a late-minute blow to Brentford, seeing Darwin Núñez become the player who have scored in the highest number of games after 90 minutes. He scored in 3 games. He has the record of scoring in 3 games after 98 minutes. So he has that record. From there, Fulham did well against Leicester United, winning 2 goals. And Ruud van Nistelrooy is still on a losing streak. He has to work on it, or he might get booted there at Leicester City. Then Crystal Palace spoiled Potter's game there, winning 2-0 away to West Ham. Then Arsenal saw their 2-goal lead collapse to Aston Villa. Watkins also delivering that blow. Then yesterday, Everton handed Moyes his first win at his return to the club, winning Tottenham 3 goals to 2. Now Tottenham have just picked up just 1 point in the last 9 points available in the last 3 games. They have picked just 1 point. That's very, very sad and bad one for Angie there at Tottenham. Then the biggest match yesterday saw Brighton beat Manchester United 3 goals to 1 there at Old Trafford. It has now seen Brighton win Manchester United 6 times in the last 7 games they have played. And Nottingham Forest also, in the game that Paul Onacho scored, Nottingham Forest beat Southampton 3 goals to 2 to cut the gap to Liverpool with just 6 points. They sit second and cut the gap to Liverpool with just 6 points. And the last game from yesterday, the biggest winners this week so far was Manchester City. Between Ipswich, they beat Ipswich 6 goals to nothing. We saw Foden scoring a brace in that game. And also, this result has seen Manchester City sneak in back into the top 4. Will they make a push for the title? No one knows, but as it is now, Manchester City are back in the top 4. That's the biggest news making the round in England and in Manchester. Then to La Liga, the shocker was Atletico Madrid losing. They lost over the weekend, which saw them go down. And as Real Madrid won yesterday 4 goals to 1, Mbappe scoring his 17th goal of the season and 12th in La Liga. So Real Madrid climb back top again. They are top of La Liga for this weekend. Barcelona also claiming another draw. Which has seen them now gotten just 3 draws in the last 8 games. Very poor one from Barcelona considering how they started this season. Very poor one from them. Really poor one for Barcelona considering how they started this season. Then from there we go to Italy. To Italy we pick the relevant big matches. Juventus also beat AC Milan 2 goals to nothing. Atlanta lost at home to Napoli. Napoli are not backing down. Lemon Lukaku had to step in to win this game and to see them sit right top of the Serie A. So they are sit up in the Serie A. Then yesterday Inter Milan beat Empoli 3 goals to 1 to see them cut the gap to 3 points in Serie A. So today we still have Como playing Udinese. Today will be happening at 8:45 p.m. 8:45 p.m. back there in Italy. Then from there, we'll move to tennis. And in tennis, we are talking about the Australian Open. The Australian Open. We are now in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open. The fourth round just happened over the weekend. And in the men's game, Gael Monfils was knocked out by Ben Shelton. 6-7, 7-6, 6-7, and 0-1. He was walked over in the fourth game. So that's a shocker for Gael Monfils who beat Fritz in the third round. We thought he was going to at least make it to the finals or the semi-finals, but that was a shocking one yesterday when he was walked over. And for the guys, the quarterfinals lineup has seen the biggest game in the tournament so far, which will happen between Djokovic and Carlos Alvarez, which will be happening tomorrow. And the other quarterfinal games are Tommy Paul and Zverev, Shouting and Sonego. Cena is still waiting for his opponent, who is currently the match which is currently going on now. So these for the men's game. And in the women's game, the shocker in the women's game was Madison Key beating Elena Rybakina. Rybakina was knocked out by Madison Key 3-6, 6-1, 3-6 in the fourth round. So the quarterfinal matches are now between Madison Keys and Svitolina and Madison Keys and the Rod Laver Arena. The second game will be between Navarro and Swiatek. The third game will be Coco Gauff versus Badosa, and the fourth game will be Sabalenka versus Petruvenkova. So these are the games for the tennis, the Australian Open. And from there we'll move to NBA, the basketball. And the biggest news in the basketball is we are gearing up for the All-Star game, which will be happening on February 14th. And the biggest news is Coach Diagnot being named as one of the coaches to take charge of one of the teams for the NBA All-Star games. He was chosen because of Oklahoma City earning one of the spots and finishing best so far in the Western Conference. So he will be one of the coaches taking charge of the 4 teams in the NBA All-Star games. The NBA All-Star games is a mini tournament with 4 teams, and 3 of the teams will be made up of All-Star players, while the 4th team will be the champions of the Costa Rising Star competition. So these are what we have for you, and I want to thank you all. This is a very packed show today, so I thank you all for joining me today. So see you again by the weekend, where we'll be talking about the results from the Champions League. Remember, the Champions League is back, and it will be starting tomorrow. Maybe we might do a preview and talk about scores and other things concerning the Champions League in the next video. So I thank you all, and I'm still your host, Don Boogie Don Sports. So I hope to see you next time on this channel. Stay tuned and Bye bye.